I wouldn't call it a role. I would just call it like another identity of mine, which he helped me discover. And I'm so glad I discovered Thangalaan.
There was not a single day that was not difficult.
The physical was the easy part. I grew my hair, lost weight because I realized that I can't look like a hero. I should look like a normal, I should be like a laborer. I'm actually part of the oppressed. So I had to be someone who just barely had a square meal a day.
Irfan sir used to tell me, help me out with things because Hindi is not my native language. So he used to help me get into that space and made sure that everyone knew you're as good as the other person on set.
Thangalaan
it means like a leader. He's a leader, it's a village leader. He protect people, he lead the people. So he wants to get some liberation and he fight against all systems. So that is mean a Thangalaan. So wholesome.
It's also a proper noun.
It's a proper noun.
I wouldn't call it a role. I would just call it like another identity of mine, which he helped me discover. And I'm so glad I discovered Thangalaan. And I'm so glad that I discovered with somebody as beautiful and as passionate about my work as she is about hers. And we really discovered our roles in this as Thangalaan and Gangama. See, it became Gangama, Thangama. Wow. It couldn't get closer than that. But I couldn't have done this. All the scenes, when you see the film, you'll enjoy the romance between us. We are happily married with 5 children. The eldest is about like 22. He's capable of getting married and having children of his own. The youngest is about 3, but we still are in love, very much in love. And whatever the scenes we have together, I mean, I couldn't have done it with anybody but you, Parvathy. Thank you for being my Gangama and for being that beautiful buffer for my soul in this movie. And Ranjit, I love him for this role. I've done some remarkable roles in my career, but Thangalaan is super, super special to me. And it's something that I'm always going to remember. And I think I'm going to show to my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren with a lot of love, if I'm still around then. But it's a very special film. And you're going to love this film because it's got wonderful performances. Like Parvathy was saying, Malavika is so ferocious. You will see her in an avatar, which I think is very rare on Indian cinema on screens. And Pasupati and Hari and Preeti and Ashokan and everybody is a performer in this movie. And all of us felt that this was more than a movie. It was all like pieces of our souls just coming together in one creation, and we just gave it our all. And you could see it in everything. There are making videos too, where you'll see the turmoils we went through and the rigors we have put through. And it was really tough. It was very, very difficult essaying our roles and trying to bring this to life. It's a film about adventure, about fantasy, about magical realism. It's got magic in it, but it's also real. He's trying to make us look in through that window into another era and to actually witness something. I mean, I'm sure if there are history books which can have this, I'm sure they would identify with the costumes, the weapons we use, the materials we use. He's tried to be as authentic as possible. A lot of research has gone into it. But at the same time, he's got a very poignant message that he wants to deliver, which has not been the prime focus of the movie. He's made a very entertaining film, a very captivating film, but with a message which I'm sure all of us in the present times will identify with. Thank you, Ranjit, for that effort. And we are so happy that we were also part of that in like very powerful voice that you possess. And thanks a lot for being so patient and listening to my ramble, if it was it. Thank you very much.
पहले एक इंटरव्यू में बोल रही थी कि ये सागर जो एक नदी जो है जो सागर से मिलती है, ऐसा फील हो रहा था हम सबको. लेकिन मेरे लिए स्पेशली क्योंकि मुझे गंगम्मा जैसा एक कैरेक्टर मिला जो तंगलान की बीवी हैं, उनके 5 बच्चे हैं. और ऐसा है कि वो अकेले किया नहीं जा सकता. वैसे फिल्म अकेले कर नहीं सकते, इट्स अ टीम एफर्ट ऑब्वियसली. लेकिन जब हम हीरो से मिलते हैं यूजुअली देयर इज़ अ स्पेशल सम काइंड ऑफ एन ऑरा अराउंड देम कि जो हम लोग सब थोड़ा बाहर रहते हैं. इनके साथ बिल्कुल ऐसा नहीं होता है. वो सबको अपने ओर खींचते हैं, उनको जो चाहिए वो देते हैं. उतने जेनरस एक्टर हैं और उस लाइक ही सच अ लार्जर देन लाइफ पर्सनैलिटी अदरवाइज, बट एट द सेम टाइम सो लविंग. ये बहुत क्लीशेड भी लग सकता है, हम प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में बोलते हैं ना आपस में बहुत प्रेस करना, लेकिन नो, आई मीन इट फ्रॉम माई हार्ट. इनके बिना मेरा जो कुछ भी आप काम देखने वाले हैं वो मैं कर नहीं पाती. आई थिंक द होल टीम ऑफ Thangalaan, Malavika has said that, and we miss Malavika when she is ferocious as Aarti in this film. And with Ranjit, obviously, as a filmmaker, I look up to him. लेकिन उससे भी ये जो है ना, आपने पूछा था कि मैजिकल रियलिज्म के बारे में, जो विजुअल स्टनिंगनेस है, पॉलिटिकल तो वो हैं ही. उनको जो कहना है, इसमें एक तरीके से एक इनर सेल्फ रिफ्लेक्शन भी किया है. वो इतने लार्जर देन लाइफ मैग्नीट्यूड में किया है कि वी फील लाइक वी आर बीइंग पुल्ड टू द सेंटर ऑफ द अर्थ. यू नो, दैट्स द पावर ऑफ इट. सो सिनेमैटिक मीडियम जो है, मैं हमेशा से कहती आई हूँ, उसका पावर छोटा मोटा नहीं है, बहुत इन्फ्लुएंशियल है. तो उस पावर को अंडरस्टैंड करके जो ये क्रिएट करते हैं, उसमें एक छोटा सा किरदार करने में मुझे बहुत बहुत एन्जॉयमेंट मिली. थैंक यू.
I love acting from when I was a kid. From my 3rd grade, I've been only wanting to act. I wouldn't even study, and I've been beaten blue black because all I could imagine was this guy walking on a street and people calling him and saying, "Hey, can you sign a picture in an autograph, or can we have a picture with you?" That's always been my dream. Cinema has always been my passion, my dream, and every time I do a role, I try to do something that's very far from me, and I think that's Thangalaan is just another repercussion of that want. It's the want to work on great characters with great directors like Par, Ranjit. All my directors have inspired me through all my characters. Work with great technicians and artists like Parvathy, Malavika, Daniel, Pasupati. We've had such wonderful... I've had a really nice travel through cinema, and this again will be like one of my very special films. And yeah, the role, I think when you'll see the film, you will... A lot of people in the South have identified with what we went through, and they've all loved the performances. So it is very flattering, and like I said earlier, very humbling when we hear such great stuff about us and about the movie. And I'd like to take this opportunity on this stage to thank all the people who have watched the film till now in all languages and made it what it is. It's very difficult for a film like this to reach a wide audience like that. And thanks to my producer, Nyanavel, and Ranjit for such a wonderful opportunity. Thank you very much. The physical was the easy part. I grew my hair, lost weight, because I realized that I can't look like a hero. I should look like a normal... I should be like a laborer. I'm actually part of the oppressed. So I had to be someone who just barely had a square meal a day. And you know that they're all very light and very wiry. I needed to be like that. So I had to shrink a little. But apart from that, it was like we had a lot of makeup done, like almost 5 hours every day. I had to remove my tattoo, then put on fresh tattoos. I have a scar which I had to hide, add scars, and all of that took time. Then we had the blood, and we had mud and ash and gold in every scene. There's no scene where we look nice, as in that looks very nice, but like I would say look normal. But the transformation apart from that was I spoke to Ranjit a lot. We had a lot of back and forth where I had to discover this person, this Thangalaan. Where is he from? What is his community? What does he stand for? What is he? I mean, he's a leader. So sometimes I used to feel that he had bravado and I used to be strong. And he would come and tell me, no, actually, he's very vulnerable. He's not just exactly, he's not always strong. With his wife, he's different. With his children, he's different. He was doing a different role with everybody in the community. So through the travel, I had Ranjit to always guide me. And we went about this thinking that we needed to have like... I have been doing different performances, but we felt that this should be very unique when compared to other films. So we did a lot of internalizing. I did a lot of that before the movie started. And initially, it took me about 3 days to get into it. Then after that, all Ranjit had to do was just tell the scene, and I would be doing exactly what he wanted. We were in total sync, and I think it's very liberating and very inspiring to have that kind of an understanding with a director where you know that what you're doing is what he wants, and he knows that what he wants is what I'm going to do, even if he doesn't know what I'm going to do, you know. So when he sees it in front, he says, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Maybe I couldn't articulate it. And I've had such a wonderful relationship with you, Ranjit, with regard to that. And everything you see here, I mean, all of it was inspired by this gentleman who sits so quietly and calmly, twirling his mustache, looking very cool and deep. Yeah, thank you. He's actually, he trips on this movie. When he wrote the script, he was tripping. There is no grammar in this movie. There's no interval block, fight, or introduction, song, or fight. Everything just goes through a particular graph that's played only on music that's playing only in his head. So he's still in that zone. Like even now when I'm talking, he's saying, I'm tripping, I'm there. He's not come back from KGF. God bless him.
there was not a single day that was not difficult. Every day we'd finish filming, and I was like, oh, like the hard part's over, and the next day it's like another Everest is like right up there for us to climb. And it really kind of taught me something about, just persisting and like staying determined, because Ranjit is like that. Ranjit is like, his vision I feel like it keeps multiplying every single day. That's what I felt. Like one day we'll shoot, he'll be inspired by all the work for his own vision, but by the work that he's seeing, that he'll add more and more nuances. And like, Tanga was saying, he trips on his own work as well. So it was challenging is an understatement, frankly. But it also did transform. When you do surrender to something like that, you can crib and cry and complain, and I did do all of that. It's left me so much more prepared as an actor to take more risks and challenges and be more of a moldable clay for directors, hopefully, with very different characters, and to sort of align with their vision. Yeah.
See, I choose cinema for only discuss with the people. So I had some problem with the system in India, the caste problem in everywhere. So I affected by the system. So what I understood in my childhood, and what I understood, Baba Saheb Ambedkar wants to make a modern India. So I followed him, and I got a lot from him. So through my art, I wanted to discuss. I don't want to only entertain people. I wanted to try to enlightenment through. I wanted to try to enlightenment, get enlightenment, and also we need to address. We need to understand what we have a problem in the modern India. Also, we had a lot of separation. We have a lot of problems. We have a still practicing caste and class problem also is there. So my movies, my art, I wanted to use that. So that is my concern. Thank you.
My schooling was my language was English and Hindi during schooling, and also in Trivandrum in Kerala. KAV was in an army cantonment area. So all my friends were army kids and, North Indians most of the time. So I actually learned Malayalam after I passed out of school. I had to start reading newspapers, and then pretty soon after that, actually while I was in first year of college, I started acting. And very soon it became it became about learning the language in which my character thinks. And I have huge respect for voice actors and dubbing artists, because then it's a partnership. Like I may have performed, they really have to get the essence with whatever. Sometimes the directors are there, sometimes it's the direction department that's there helping them out. But mostly I try to dub for myself as well and sing sound if that helps. But more importantly, while performing, if I get the train of thought, because a thought happens and then the words, sometimes it spills over, but that becomes much better for me to understand the lesson. So I always use acting now as a way to learn a new language. And at this point, I can speak 5 Indian languages. So I did not get it, but I am so grateful that the ones who did do the dubbing may have gotten to know Gangammal. I mean, art has to be generous, I feel. I mean, at one point I used to be very selfish. I was like, mujhe hi karna hai, sare languages mein. But I feel like, hey, they got to know Gangammal, so I'm actually quite happy they got to. Lekin I got the chance to speak Tamil in the dialect it was spoken at the time, because it was sing sound. And I had a great team that worked with Ranjit to help me with that. Wow, that's a heavy question for a press conference. I guess it's a generosity for sure. It's not a guess. It's definitely the generosity I see in both of them. Irfan sir used to tell me, help me out with things, because Hindi is not my native language. So he used to help me get into that space and made sure that everyone knew you're as good as the other person on set. And I saw that generosity in him. And when I worked with Tanga here, it expands further away from even actors. It's everybody on set. It was amazing how on set you'd go in, and first of all, I miss getting all the toffees. Like there is a particular native toffee that we get there, and his kamar cut, it's called. It's like this jaggery, palm sugar jaggery ka thing. And he'd just be walking around and he'd shake hands, and suddenly you have a toffee in your hand. Like he just brightens the mood for everybody, not just me, the kids obviously, and others also. But the way he asks, everybody's like, "Khana khaya ki nahi? Apne ye sab kuch." And it's not for show. Like, I mean, people can do that also, but it genuinely, there is a concern how everyone is doing. And our shooting location was very difficult. It was one of the most harshest locations. It was all real locations that they shot in. And he had everyone's back, and that leads, and that in that sense he was our Thangalaan, he was leading the pack in that sense. He was also like leading all of us in terms of our ads and crews and everyone to make their lives easier. So I find that greatness comes from, that saying about people don't remember what you might have said or given them, it's about how you make them feel. That's the similarity in Irfan sir and Vikram, I would say.
रेडियो सिटी रग रग में दौड़े सिटी